warmer water and brighter skies. There's no better time to hit the water and chase a little coastal magic. Whether you're booking a fishing charter, a sunset cruise, or just want to float and breathe, Coastal Marsh has got your summer adventure waiting. Departing daily from Little River, contact Captain Chris today at 304-807.
I think I lost connection, Jenny.
Or book via email at chris@coastalmarshcharters.com. Let's make this summer one for the books.
Folks, welcome to another episode of On the Limb Podcast with Nature's Voice Game Calls, where deer camp becomes a reality for every listener. Join us as we talk God, family, country, and everything outdoors. Kick back, relax, and have a listen. Now, here's your host and co-host, Mike and Dan.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. How's everybody doing this evening? BJ, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic.
Doing good. Glad to have you back in the studio.
Oh,
Caleb, how you doing, brother?
Oh, pretty good.
Pretty good. Just smashed a burger from Nicky's.
That was delicious.
So was that a good choice?
Oh yeah.
That and the onion rings?
Yeah. The burger was killer. I only got like 2 onion rings. Why give me a black eye for the rest of it?
Buddy, I tell you, he was snatching up them onion rings.
Hey, he's a grown boy, man.
Gosh.
He can eat.
Hey, you gotta eat. Gotta eat.
So turkey season has come to a close here in West Virginia, and we just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about turkey data and some of the numbers here in West Virginia. The West Virginia Department or Division of Natural Resources put out some numbers the other day, so we're going to kind of go over and hit on some of those numbers, and we're going to be talking with Mike Peters with the West Virginia Division of Natural Resources. He's the wild turkey and migratory bird or game bird project leader. So we'll do that right after BJ talks about some promo codes real quick.
All right, guys. Remember, we now have both audio and video versions of our podcast on the premier Carbon TV streaming platform. Be sure to visit troutroutes.com and use promo code NATURE26 and get a 3-month membership for free. Trout Routes is one of the great app partners where you can find new waters, new places, and new access points. Available on both Android and Apple stores. Be sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Carbon TV, Gen 7 Outdoors TV, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast.
All right. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about turkey numbers, turkey data here in West Virginia. Some of us in the state had a good season. The numbers are showing that it was a great season. Us here in the studio, other than Caleb, I think out of town, you scored out of town.
Yeah, I killed every turkey I killed this year.
Yeah.
Was in another state. Now,
but you hunted a lot more in those other states, didn't you?
Yeah. Now, to be fair, the first week of West Virginia, I was guiding the whole time. And I wouldn't say I was guiding the whole time, but I was just trying to call one in for buddies. And we let a couple get away that shouldn't have got away. And I think after that, I just got some bad juju on me, and then like
that's exactly what happened to me. My opportunity came extremely quick on the first Friday. I was able to hunt. The bird came into my right. I wasn't able to swing on him, and it just went all downhill from there.
Yeah, it wasn't that we wasn't hearing the birds.
Yeah, we heard birds.
We just couldn't get them to come into us.
Yeah, they were very henned up.
And I think the weather, like we've talked before, had a lot to do with it this year.
I do.
On the way that they flew off the roost.
Yeah, they wanted to go to water.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we weren't able to find where they wanted to do that.
Yeah. Well, without further ado, please welcome Mike Peters, West Virginia Division of Natural Resources, wild turkey and migratory bird project leader. Mike, how you doing this evening?
He's quiet on us. Hold on one. There you go. 1 second.
Yeah, there we go. We got you back now.
I still can't.
All right.
Keep losing service there. You keep popping in and out. I don't know if maybe service may be a little bad in your area or not.
Well, we're getting some storms rolling through tonight, so that may be impacting things. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, that probably. No, you're fine. You're fine. We always end up with a little bit of technical difficulties coming into these things. You just never know. So how are you doing this evening, Mike?
I'm doing good.
So if you don't care, with your expertise, you've served as a turkey biologist for 9 years. Just kind of give us a little background on your history here in West Virginia.
In West Virginia? So
yeah.
I moved here about 25 years ago, and I started off with the agency as a wildlife manager and special conservation officer. I served in that role for about 8 years, and then I was promoted to assistant district game biologist here in District 1. Served in that role for about 8 years, and took another promotion into what we call game services, which is our research section, and I've been in there ever since. So about 24 years, going on 25.
Awesome. Congratulations on your promotion there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
So you are also national representative for the, let's see here, the Southeast Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies.
Yeah, so
we lost him.
Lost him again.
Yeah. Shoot fire.
No one said anything about the Mothman prior to this.
Nobody has said anything about Mothman.
Because I know he's watching right now. Go ahead and throw that comment up.
He's froze up on there.
The Mothman.
Yeah. So we're all still connected on this end. So I think it's more on his end.
Well, in the meantime, Greg's on here. Greg Bowman's watching our podcast, and he said he had the same fate as me this year. He said, "I'm eating tag soup."
He's eating tag soup. Okay. All right, Mike, you got you back in here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Sorry about that. So, so we were talking about your Southeast Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies. So you're a national committee member there?
Yes, I am. Yep. West Virginia belongs to both the Southeast and the Northeast Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies. I serve on both committees. So
yeah, tell us a little bit about those. I've not actually heard of those myself.
So in the Southeast, we just have the Southeast Wild Turkey Working Group, and we act as an advisory capacity to our commissioners and chiefs and directors. In the Northeast, it's the Northeast Upland Game Bird Technical Committee, and in that committee, we cover all game birds. Well, upland game birds, turkey, grouse, quail. So more than just turkeys.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm sure that you have, other than turkeys, you have a wealth of knowledge about every bird. So we were like, we get him on here and we can talk about turkeys since turkey season just ended. Sure. And then maybe we can have you back and we'll talk about grouse and stuff like that, and quail and,
Yeah. Well, we actually do have a quail and grouse biologist, so I'll gladly pass over her information.
Oh, okay. I got you. That's fine. That's fine.
Hey, Mike, it's BJ Sampson. How you doing, sir?
What's that?
I said, how are you doing this evening? This is BJ Sampson.
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. You?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. You care to explain that your role isn't just the counting of the birds, it's monitoring the health, the diseases, analyzing the harvest data, and making regulatory recommendations that dictate our seasons, dates, and bag limits.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first part.
I'm just asking if you could go into detail explaining your role, as it's not just counting birds. It's
I don't just count birds. So I'm responsible for guiding the agency's management of wild turkeys, whether that's actual habitat management, population management, disease monitoring, nuisance issues, and again, when I say guide the agency, it's more like I advise them of what's going on,
sure,
and we make decisions are made from that guidance.
Are there any particular areas that you're seeing that we're suffering as far as wild turkeys here in West Virginia?
You're going to have to speak up. I can barely hear you.
Are there any areas in West Virginia that you're seeing that we're suffering as far as population concerns?
No, I mean, long term, no. Our poor production areas have always been low production areas, and our high production areas have, generally been high production areas. So nothing great is changing. So we're pretty constant here in the Appalachians.
Good to hear.
So the West Virginia DNR just put out the numbers for the 2026 spring harvest, and it was like a 12.3 increase. So let's talk about some of those big numbers. West Virginia harvested over 12,000 plus gobblers in 2026. So Where did some of that, what plays a big role in some of that success, you think?
Well, there's a lot of things that really play into that. And the biggest thing is participation. So, if we have, and maybe I need to back up a little bit. So, most of our harvest occurs the first week of the season, out of the 5 weeks. Most of our harvest occurs the first week. Out of that first week, most of our harvest occurs the first 3 days. So if we really have lousy weather those first 3 days, it really impacts our harvest. And we kind of saw that last year. Our harvest was down, but the first 3 days were pretty bad. And contrasted to like this year's youth season, if you remember, Saturday and Sunday was beautiful. Highest youth season harvest ever. And I think that reflects with weather. So weather definitely plays an impact on participation, how many hunters are actually getting out in the field and things like that. So the other thing that really affects harvest is our brood production 2 years ago. And brood production 2 years ago was pretty good. So that plays into it. Mass conditions can also play into harvest, more fall harvest than spring harvest, but this year we had, last winter we had an exceptional mass conditions, and so maybe this spring you might have seen the birds were spread out more across the landscape. So again, that's more of a fall thing, but it can impact spring also.
Yeah, I see that we were 17% above on the 5-year average and 21.6 above on the 10-year average.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually had a fairly decent season. If you look back, there's only 3 times since 2003 that we've harvested over 12,000 birds. So it's not a banner year, but not too bad.
Yeah. So let's talk about why the report credits this above average broad production hatch in 2024.
So if I understand your question correctly, you're kind of looking back at our brood survey 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So if looking back at our brood production 2 years ago, it was above the long-term 5-year average. We'll put it was above our 5-year average. And since it was above our 5-year average, you can kind of look 2 years ahead. Most turkeys that are harvested are 2-year-old birds and are older. They're just mature birds. Most guys want to shoot a long beard, so that's what they go for. They generally don't shoot jakes, although jakes are perfectly legal and fine also. So we know the most harvested bird is a 2-year bird. It's also the most abundant bird on the landscape at the time too. Just because of annual survival or mortality. So looking back at our brood surveys 2 years ago, we had a pretty good production year. Like I said, it was above average. The only caveat to that is here recently, West Virginia, and a lot of the southeast states, part of the Southeast Wild Turkey Working Group, we're noticing that our brood production doesn't exactly reflect harvest anymore. Not exactly sure why, but that's something we'll be looking to into the future here.
Okay. So that 2-year bird theory is kind of a result that we think that why we have more birds hitting the ground is because those result in that.
Yeah. It's production was good, so we have more 2-year birds on the landscape and more got harvested. So
okay. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, we had a pretty good winter last year. How does these birds, their survival rate in the winters? Do you all track any of that to see how that affects things?
We actually do. So, and if you guys haven't heard of the Spring Gobbler survey, I would suggest you go into the DNR website and checking out the Spring Gobbler survey and participating in that. But we track winter mortality not only for turkey but deer and through that Spring Gobbler survey.
Okay.
Now, this year was a little unusual. Like I said, we had excellent mass conditions last year. Well, above average. I mean, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But then for 2 weeks, we had that, well, it depends on what part of the state you were in. We had that snow and then that hard ice on top.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all the mass conditions in the world, but if the turkeys can't get to it, it doesn't do them any good.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a strange year in that aspect. If the turkeys could get through that 2 weeks of snow, ice, if they had it in their area, they did just fine. I was out this spring working with some turkey technicians, and there was still beech nuts and acorns on the ground. It was amazing.
That's
yeah,
good.
I know that shut down trapping season altogether pretty much there with that ice when it hit the ground. And I know we come up on huge flocks of turkeys, and they were working the ridges pretty hard, especially
Really?
the right of ways trying to get into the stuff. Yeah,
That's crazy. So we had some regional performance there on our top counties. Number one coming in was Mason County with 516 birds.
Mm-hmm.
Kanawha County with 434 birds. Preston County 429 birds. Wood County 420 birds, and Jackson County with 417 birds. So you were kind of spotlighting their District 1, Northern, and the Northern Panhandle led in the state with 3,269 birds. District 6 in the Parkersburg area followed with 2,543.
Mm-hmm.
So are these counties consistently at the top because of the habitat quality in the area, or is it a matter of hunter access and, population density?
Oh, no, it all comes down to habitat. If you go through our big game bulletin where we always publish these results, it's the same. It's almost always the same top 5 counties every year. Sometimes they switch ranks, sometimes one drops to 2 and vice versa type of things, but it's usually the same 5 counties that are at the top. And it's also the same too with like total district harvest too. Usually the same districts are at the top. And like I said, it all comes down to habitat.
Gotcha. Well, Mike, we're going to take a break real quick here, a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back. This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Stick Tamer Bow Silencers. Are you a traditional archery hunter or shooter? Stick Tamer was specifically designed for the recurve shooter. Made of a hybrid foam rubber material, Stick Tamer is designed to deaden string slap and limb vibration. Stick Tamer reduces limb and string noise, water resistant, and lasts shot after shot. Made in the USA from a hybrid foam rubber for durability. To purchase Stick Tamer and for more information, visit 3riversarchery.com and blackwidowbows.com. Stick Tamer bow silencers are available exclusively at 3riversarchery.com and blackwidowbows.com.
all right, welcome back, everybody. Be sure to visit aquacase.net. You can use our promo code podcast15 at checkout for 15% off your entire order. They are your waterproof case and bag experts. Also, check out bondscreekforge.com and use podcast 10 at the checkout for $10 off on your order. And be sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Carbon TV, Gen 7 Outdoors TV, YouTube TV, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you, BJ. Appreciate it. All right, guys, we're back with Mike Peters, West Virginia Division of Natural Resources, Wild Turkey and Migratory Bird or Game Bird Project Leader. So let's get into a little bit of turkey health and disease monitoring. So you guys, like you were saying, you all serve, surveillance that in all of these counties. So tell us a little bit about your job and how that plays a role in that.
So believe it or not, surveillance for turkeys for disease has been kind of spotty over the years. The only turkeys that we usually test for any type of diseases are those ones that landowners report to us, like they're either dying or dead, or roadkill. So the good news is that's changing a little bit. We're actually in our 3rd year of a 3-year hen study. And so we're doing we were capturing hens and putting transmitters on and stuff. But anyway, we were drawing blood from them also. So really, that's a big step for us for disease monitoring. And what we're really trying to figure out is prevalence of LPDV and REV in our turkeys. That's the first step.
I wasn't going to try to announce or pronounce that name there. So it's a long one.
I'm glad I can't pronounce it either, and I think every time I do, I say it a different way. So we'll just stick to the letters, huh?
Yeah, we just stick to the acronym. That's fine with me. So what are some of the things that hunters should be looking for when they're out in the woods to kind of maybe monitor this on a hunter basis? Is there any kind of signs that hunters should look for overall health of a turkey?
No, so that's the thing with LPD and LPDV and RAV, right? There's really no clinical signs. Usually turkeys are dying from something else, and like those two just kind of play into it. So most turkeys are actually dying from like avian pox. So if you see a turkey with extraordinary lumps on its heads, not behaving properly, lethargic, those are red flags. I don't know how often a hunter is actually going to see that kind of behavior, though. So most of the time, it's a landowner that finds a lethargic or dead turkey in their yard and say, "Hey, what's going on with this bird?" Type of thing.
Yeah. So do you all have any data specifically stating that ours is better or worse than any other states in the SEA, FWA regions?
No, and that's why we're started. I mean, we had those birds in hand and we took blood samples, and so this, like I said, this is the first step to really determining how we compare to other states and the possible implications with that.
Okay, and that can also be done with feathers too, like a data analysis that you all do. Is that with feathers and their biological data?
No, we don't. Feathers we would use for possible genetic work, but we're also using the blood samples for some genetic work we're doing, and that's maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but we're also starting an exciting research project with Dr. Chamberlain and Dr. Lavorsky with some DNA work here in West Virginia. So some good stuff coming ahead. Some of the folks might have been asked to participate. I think they get sent an envelope and send in a tongue of the turkey they harvested.
Oh, okay.
So please participate if you get surveyed.
Nice.
Very nice. Hey, Mike, it's Caleb. So I had me and a buddy that we do a lot of traveling and turkey hunting together. John Money.
Mm-hmm.
We hunted South Carolina this year. He's a North Carolina resident, but we travel all over and hunt. And he was telling me that this year was the worst year he's ever seen in the state of North Carolina. And he, we us hunters, we've always got like our theories, right? But he really blamed it on, the amount of chicken houses and, the manure and stuff, I guess fertilizer from those chicken houses are killing turkeys. Have you ever, in your experience, in this field, like, have you ever experienced anything like that? Like, is that a real thing? Is it not?
So there is potential for LPDV and REV to be transmitted from domestic fowl to turkeys. And there was some theories that these domestic poultry operations, where they were spreading the manure out, could possibly impact wild populations of turkeys. Now, we don't have any evidence of that yet. Okay. And we're not really sure what.
Oh, man.
Oh, we lost him.
He's cutting out again. He'll be back.
Yeah.
He'll be right back.
That was a good run.
That was good. Yeah.
Man, I was in that one too. Though.
I know. That was a good question. That was really good question.
We was right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
I think that was actually something that they discussed years ago.
Yeah.
Especially like Pocahontas and Pendleton, where they had really large chicken farms, turkey farms.
Well, that's what made me think of it.
Yeah. That one creek got really infected.
Okay, are we back on?
Yeah, we got you now. So
it's all right. We're just taking a little media break there. Yeah. It's fine.
Well, if I'm talking too much, just tell me. I'll
No, you're fine.
We were all leaning on the edge of our seats because we were like really interested in it, and then you just froze, and I was like, "Oh, we lost him.
We lost him." I said he'll be back just in a second. Hold on.
So anyway, we don't have any hard, fast evidence yet that any of these two viruses impact production or survival of wild turkeys. But that's one of the reasons I'm interested in doing this blood work, to see at least find out prevalence. What portion of our wild turkeys are actually have these two viruses, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, that's great. It's good that we're doing that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. As far as the decision-making processes on our regulations and recommendations, what goes into the procedures to recommend management strategies here in West Virginia?
So, believe it or not, our seasons and regulations are pretty much set in stone. Like there's not too many decisions I got to make every year. The spring gobbler season comes in the third Monday of April. The fall season comes in the second Sunday of October. So the seasons are pretty well set. Now the only thing is that every county in West Virginia gets at least a 1 week fall turkey season, and those counties that harvested at least 0.75 gobblers per square mile, they get a second week. So that's really the only variability in our seasons from year to year. But now, every year we have our sectional meetings where the public is welcome to come in and comment on our regulations. And we do take comments on, do they support our seasons and things they would like to see changed.
When we see a boom like we did here in 2026, does that change the outlook for the fall season or future bag limits? And how does that go along with hunter satisfaction and the biological sustainability?
Yeah. So the only thing that it changes is like if this year, since our spring harvest was so high, there'll be a few extra counties in the fall that get a 2 week season instead of a 1 week season. So that's the only real difference you see as far as that goes. And as far as sociological, it doesn't really do anything. So,
yeah. Well, I know as far as like a water cooler talk, if you will, as far as the start date for the season here in West Virginia, is there any discussion that goes on in the DNR as far as changing that date to an earlier date, or is, like you said, just set in stone?
So for Spring Gobbler, our opening day?
Spring Gobbler, yes.
Yeah, Spring Gobbler. So if you remember correctly, it was probably 5 years ago, we did move our season up a week.
Yes.
Yeah. And then 4 years ago, we extended it from 4 weeks to 5 weeks. So we have done stuff like that in the past to try to better meet the desires of our hunters. But you also got to keep in mind too, we got to meet biological needs also. And right now we're pushing the envelope as far as the biological goes. So I don't see us right now ever, opening the season any earlier than what it is. Just because of biological reasons.
Yeah, I think that's very important because a lot of people, and myself involved, we've always go out earlier in the season to listen for birds, and they're very active, and a lot of them are early committed birds like that. So it could, easily tip the balance on the scales as far as our population if it just moving that date a week in or a week out. So,
yeah. And I think that activity with the way that they get active more, I think that weather has a lot to play with that.
Yeah.
If you just look at this year, we were in the 40s, high 40s,
yeah, and
low 50s all the way up into like last week.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We actually had a spring this year.
Yeah.
If you will. I know West Virginia's bad about just jumping straight from winter into summer. Mm-hmm. This was a really good spring that we had this year here in West Virginia.
Yeah. Well, and here's something that I've noticed just in my unprofessional opinion and just time spent in the turkey woods, traveling around the nation hunting the things. And I remember, Mike, you talking about whenever you guys moved up, the DNR moved the season up a week. At the time, everyone was arguing like, season comes in too early. Birds are henned up, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I can't buy a gobble. It's too late. And, it needs to come in earlier. Well, at the end of the day, I think that the number one factor, whether or not people are, killing turkeys, is the amount of pressure. And are you educating birds? Because I can tell you from South Carolina, opening day on public land,
all the way to Virginia.
Northern Virginia.
Yeah,
Northern Virginia into West Virginia. when turkeys get shot at, they get smart fast.
Real fast.
You know, when they get bumped by people, they get smart fast.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Well, that bird that busted
mean-
me on Friday the first week,
Yeah.
we never got him to gobble again.
I mean, exactly. And like, people don't realize, you know, a turkey, you know, Mike, you might disagree with me. A turkey isn't the smartest creature in the woods, but they're at the bottom of the food chain and they know how not to get killed.
They do.
For the most part. They're really good. And that's why they're so skittish. So, I mean,
Mhm.
you know, I think the whole argument of like, oh, it's too early or it's too late. It's like, man, they're just reacting to the pressure.
Yeah.
You know, you send a bunch of, you know, men and women and your kids in the woods load down with shotguns. I don't know how vocal I'm will be. I'm gonna change my pattern, you know.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that's something we need to highlight here.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's just like a big thing, like you said. Everybody's always like, we should come in 2 weeks early. We should come in 2 weeks later. I seen a guy that commented the other day. He said, if we came in January, he was like, you'd still be asking for more.
Yeah.
But we do have a January season, so
Yeah,
The heritage
we had the
season.
heritage.
The
season.
heritage
season.
season, right? Yeah, you can't get
I
much earlier
almost
than
had
that.
one the first year. I almost had one.
I
I got my doe, but I
was going to ask you about the fall season. So what is the numbers like compared to the spring that you see in the fall season when it comes to hunters and harvest?
So, unlike the spring season, the fall season really does depend on participation.
Mhm.
And if you look at our harvest over the years for the fall, I think participation is dropping off significantly. And I think last year, last year it was pretty bad. Normally we harvest around 900 to 1,200 birds,
Okay.
and we harvested just under 600 birds.
Wow.
And that might have raised some red flags, but honestly, I just think most hunters are more apt to go spring gobbler, spring turkey hunting, and they're satisfied with that.
Yeah.
Now there's a couple other things that played into the low fall season. We kind of had a poor production year last year and good mass conditions. So both those played into the fall harvest too. But
yeah.
I know. Growing up, my father, him and his friends, they used to head to Pocahontas and Pendleton because that was the only place you could fall turkey hunt. But it was a real big deal. But as hunters have evolved over the years, that's also a really good time to chase a big buck.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the people have moved towards that. And I think you're right, Mike. People are more inclined to go after a spring gobbler than they are to chase, a group of turkeys out in the woods in the fall together.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like growing up, as much spring gobbler hunting as we done and turkey hunting that my brother done. I mean, he was more of an avid turkey hunter than anybody in our family. Yeah. And, but we never fall turkey hunted.
I've never done it.
And he never fall turkey hunted. When fall came, it was time to deer hunt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, August came around and we started shooting our bows. We started getting ready for opening day bow season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, it may be more people just, I know that Larry Case does it.
Yeah.
And I would like to go do it with Larry. He said, yeah. He's like, y'all more welcome. Come up.
It is a blast. I had some really good times when I was a kid fall turkey hunting.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it that we don't talk about is the evolution of trail cameras, because that has really pushed a lot more hunters into the woods after whitetails in October during that fall turkey season. Now, if they get the chance, they might try to shoot one with a bow as well.
Yeah.
But you have so much more analytical data to go off of with these new cameras and stuff that are out.
Yeah, well, they're all flocked up in the fall.
Oh yeah,
so you're having to. And Larry talks about hunting them with dogs. To get the dogs to go.
I think Mike has left the studio.
I'm here.
Oh, no, he's back.
We're good.
No, he's there. He's there.
I think that one's ours.
Is
That one
us?
says, "Oops, connection lost. Reconnecting."
Oh, well, we're still here. Mike's still here.
Yeah, we're all here.
We're all
Okay.
here.
Yeah, we're all here.
It's broadband.
Except for BJ, he's not all there.
Yeah, not all there. You sandwiches short of pictures.
Hey, I do have a question. Kind of talking fall turkeys, Mike. Kind of a two-parter. Out of your fall turkey harvest numbers that you see, how many of those are mature toms? And we can even group jakes into that. Like, I guess what's the male to female ratio that you see harvested in the fall? And the second parter is, and I know I can't be the only one who has heard a longbeard gobble in the fall, like November time frame. What's the reasoning for that? I've heard it's, the daylight, the amount of hours of daylight in a day, the weather's kind of similar to an early spring. Can you guide me in on that?
So you know how you mentioned earlier, turkeys are probably one of the least intelligent birds you know. I don't know why they gobble. I've been sitting out in the duck marsh in January, and I've heard a turkey gobble. It
Really?
makes no sense to me. Somebody slams the door and they gobble.
Yeah. Just
I
that
don't
day
really,
got him.
I don't really have a reason why. Now, there is a point in the fall where the sunlight does change. It kind of mimics spring conditions, and even your songbirds may act like they want to breed and stuff like that. So that's a possibility for turkeys also.
Okay.
As far as the fall harvest goes, we don't track jakes versus toms in the harvest, but I can tell you that about 50% of the harvest in the fall is female. So last year the female harvest was like 53%, and the gobbler harvest was at 47. So so it's usually right around 50%.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't really know like how that broke down. That my same friend that I was telling you that I travel and turkey hunt with, he was telling me about some of the numbers, that North Carolina had this year with the spring turkey season. And he done the rough math on his phone, and I think it was like 73% of the turkeys taken. It was 73 or 78% of the turkeys taken in the spring were jakes.
Wow.
And he said that they've really been struggling trying to find a 2-year-old, just due to the high jake harvest. I don't know what what the truth is to it, but I mean he was on the phone with me and pulled it up, and he's really good about searching harvest rates, because that's the first thing we look at when we go to hunt another state.
Right.
It's like, where's the best spot? If I'm flying across the country, I'm trying to kill a turkey.
Yeah, it plays a big part in it.
But,
I mean, there's people always looking at this data, and then we have a spring survey that we do. Do we also have a summer survey that gets put out, Mike? He's froze.
Yeah, we lost him.
Nope. There he is.
Oh, so I don't really know the details of what did you say, North Carolina?
Yeah. I was just talking about. I was just curious about harvest, rates, like jakes to mature toms, and then like that male to female, just purely out of curiosity, because what sparked the original question was me and my friend John were discussing North Carolina spring season, and he was telling me that like 78%, he done the math on his phone whenever we were on the phone. I don't know if that number's changed, but it was like 78% or something like that of the turkeys harvested this spring in North Carolina were jakes.
Yeah.
And the rest were mature toms or older. And he was like, Caleb, like, me and him text every day, how many you heard? I've heard 3 this morning, I've heard 4. And he's like, Caleb, like, he told me, he said, I can't buy a 2-year-old down here. So like that's what sparked the original
right
question.
Right. So if that was my experience here in West Virginia, either A, you really had a good production year and the jakes are just way outnumbering gobblers, or B, you just over harvested your gobblers and now you're relying on those jakes. So if I was the North Carolina turkey biologist, I'd be really looking at what's going on as far as why is the harvest so skewed. I mean, if you look at our spring gobbler survey, by far the vast majority of our harvest is 2.5-year-old birds, and really it hasn't changed over the last 20 years. So,
well, and you can't really, I don't feel like in your position, Mike, I don't think you can ask for more than that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, very stable.
And I feel like in numbers, when you're talking wildlife, stable is all you can ask for. I mean, that's the goal.
I mean, it can be
stable, good numbers.
Yeah.
Yep, and I agree with that. West Virginia, I think, is at a good place, and I can't thank my predecessors enough. They might have been a little conservative with our seasons in the beginning, but we do appear to have a stable population. Using spring harvest as an index. So, I think West Virginia is in a pretty good place.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the spring survey. Is there also a survey that's done for June and July, like in the summer?
No, it's just a Spring Gobbler survey. Yeah.
Okay. So we just have that one survey.
Yeah. And even if folks only hunt it one day and they didn't kill anything, please fill it out. We use that information.
Yeah.
So do you get like reports from people with, them seeing the poults and stuff during the spring seasons and after that?
Yeah, so that's actually one of the questions we ask in the Spring Gobbler survey. We ask them if and when they saw poults, if they bumped a hen off the nest. So we ask those types of questions. But we also have our field staff out too, and at the end of May, they were already seeing poults. They were giving me reports of seeing poults. So it seems like we may have a decent year this year as far as production.
Yeah, I knew that was part of the thing that you fill out, but I didn't know do you guys normally get calls of people, talking about those things too?
No, we just look at the survey.
Gotcha.
And Mike, I was wondering, I know in the past when I was younger, we used to have a lot of Jake activity in the spring, a lot of Jakes gobbling. We're still seeing very large flocks of Jakes when we're hunting. They're not so much apt to work like they used to. Is that due to a possibility of a lot more mature older birds in the area, or is it something to do with the habitat itself in general as far as predators involved?
Well, it could be a combination of both, right? So it could be that there's a larger flock of gobblers in the area, and they don't want to meet up, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Get rolled up.
Yeah, I mean, if every time you start acting up and somebody comes over and kicks your butt, you soon learn to keep quiet, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is correct. My childhood.
Yeah.
But it's also the same way too, I think, with I know there's a lot of concern with coyotes and stuff, but if every time you're out there and you start making noise, a coyote shows up, you soon learn that, well, maybe I shouldn't make so much noise, type of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
So it's definitely could be a result of more predators on the landscape too.
Yeah. So that actually brings us into one of our listeners, Mike. His name is Greg Bowman. He commented on our live here and was watching, and he just stated that I think that the increase of predators has drastically affected the population around here. I don't know how you feel about that with the population. Obviously, you're the one seeing the harvest numbers and stuff, but I know for sure it's going to affect the way they behave, way that they behave. Do you have any thoughts or input on, like predators and like, I feel like trapping, I feel like some of the best properties that I've ever seen with wild turkeys, at least private tracks are like actively trapped, like throughout, at the end of deer season, guys are running trap lines. They're killing all the nest raiding predators that they can.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, this is really a tough topic. It's a hot topic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely some haters out there. So there's a lot of things going on. First of all, if you have good quality habitat, your populations are going to do just fine.
Yeah.
Now, if you are able to do predator control on your property, I mean, there's plenty of studies out there that said, yeah, if you can sustain that, it can boost some populations. Now the problem is you've got to be able to sustain it, and like from the agency standpoint, there's no way we could do it. I mean, no way we can do it. There's also plenty of research out there too that shows that coyotes are predators, but sometimes they actually help our ground nesting birds by eating other predators like skunks and possums and stuff like that.
Raccoons, right.
So I think sometimes coyotes get a bad rap for being, just the killer of everything.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes in some situations they can actually be beneficial. By taking other predators off the landscape.
I agree with that, and that's something that like you don't really think about a lot. But like personally, like my opinion, the predator I hate the most is a coon or a possum.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if a hen lays a clutch of 10 eggs, that big boar coon rolls up in that nest,
it's over.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's bad. And then if she don't scram, he's liable to kill her. I mean, he's big enough to kill the hen as well. So you're talking about 11 turkeys that we could have had hatched. Yeah. Or 11 turkeys, dead in one night, or in a couple day time frame if he keeps coming back night after night. But no, that's a really good point. Like coyotes, they do get a bad rap, and I think that probably stems from like the deer aspect of like maybe killing fawns, and so like instantly it rolls over to turkeys, because coyotes are pretty hard on the fawns, but and I think that number is probably a little bit, I'm gonna say. The mortality rate is a little bit more devastating when you're talking fawn numbers, because a doe might have one fawn or two fawns, but when you're talking about, 10 or 11 poults, one gets eaten by a coyote, but that coyote also, killed, 2 coons that spring. I mean, it evens out.
Yeah.
It evens out. I'm not so mad at that coyote.
It does.
Yeah,
I mean, it all has to play. We have a role in that just as much as nature does.
Yeah.
In the cycle.
Well, I know Jonathan Fowler and we done a lot of trapping this past winter, and I think that it's going to be a good guide for us, because the last time he trapped, we did have a couple phenomenal seasons in a row right after that. So I think we took out over 40 coons and 15 possums or so.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple more with the truck.
Yeah.
But it was just bonus.
It's definitely needed, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm kind of excited for the next couple of years just to see. I mean, but our numbers are still really good. We're seeing plenty of birds.
Yeah.
They're just not as apt to work like they have.
Yeah. So. Well, and like what I would encourage, if people, if you've got private land and you've got, the opportunity. I mean, Mike said it a little bit ago, like, as an agency, you can't trap, that an entire state's worth of predators. Hey, don't hang up the boots in December.
Yeah, get them out.
Get out there. Make sure you got your hunting license and your trapping license and stuff. Go out there and set a line.
Oh, we had a blast.
And I mean it's a team effort. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if all three of us own a different piece of private land in the same general area, every coon I trap's gonna help you.
Absolutely.
Same for me. So like talk with your neighbors, your neighboring properties, and come up with a little game plan, and make sure it's something you can sustain. And keep in mind, you got about 2 years before you really see, start reaping the benefits of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good point.
Yeah, definitely well worth it.
And some good habitat management goes a long way too. So don't be afraid to harvest some timber once in a while.
Yeah. Harvest some timber.
Yeah.
Prescribe burns and whatever else. I don't know. That's about all I know of.
Yeah, I think it'd be really good for us.
Yeah.
Well, I think
harvesting timber is great.
Yeah. Per acre, I believe you're supposed to have so many like piles, piled up, and limbs and things like that, just for different habitat nesting and things like that.
They gotta have that brood cover, and that nesting cover.
Yeah, wide open hen is not a safe hen.
So you're looking to create that high stem, brushy area type of habitat for nesting. But the poults really need those wild herbaceous openings, for going out there and bugging and having some escape cover too nearby. So well mixed habitat.
Yeah.
Mike, on a national perspective here with the National Wild Turkey Federation, let's go into something about going across the country, talking to different agencies. How is the Mountain State comparing to other states in population declines?
I think we're like I said earlier, I think, West Virginia's at a good place. I believe our populations are stable and have been stable for the last 20 years. We're definitely not experiencing what some of the southern states are experiencing with, perceived low production or possibly low production and low harvest rates. So from a national standpoint, I think West Virginia is doing okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would agree with that. And all my traveling turkey hunting adventures.
Yep,
I would agree with that.
I mean, they're definitely out there. We heard them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's not like we're going out there and
I heard
we're cracking off an owl hooter in the morning or something. You ain't getting nothing answered back or anything like that. So, I mean, we're definitely hearing the birds, and we see them being harvested all over the state.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. Mike, I think you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, the turkeys do most of the work. I just kind of monitor them. So
Yeah.
I got you. So I would encourage everybody to go over to the West Virginia Division of Natural Resources, West Virginia DNR.gov, to check out the article. We have it posted up there on a QR code right now. You can scan that QR code. It'll take you right to the article that we referenced in tonight about the numbers, and it'll also give you a county-by-county breakdown of where these numbers are coming from. So go check that out. Do your research. Look at the data. And not just look at the post on Facebook.
Yeah, hey,
a lot of people look at the heading on Facebook, and that's as far as they go.
Yeah.
Make sure you're getting online and you're doing those surveys that come.
Yeah,
up.
do the surveys.
Like, make sure you're doing those surveys and help the state help you.
Yes.
You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Appreciate you guys' efforts. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Mike, on closing, what is some advice that you would give hunters based on the data that has been seen in 2026?
That's a good question. I guess I would just say is hang in there, be patient, and enjoy the hunt. I think we have a lot of good years ahead of us. I don't see any changes in populations or anything else like that. So I think we have a good future here in West Virginia for turkey hunting. People just need to get out and enjoy it. So
yes, that's right. Almost heaven, West Virginia. Boy, we live in a beautiful state.
We really do. Man. Thanks to you guys. We really appreciate your efforts. You guys really put in a lot of work for us, and it goes unheralded a lot of times, but we really do appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mike, well, we sure appreciate your time this evening, and hope you had a great time with us.
It was, besides the little glitches, it was great.
It always gets a little eventful. That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll have you back on sometime, and we'll talk some more data, and we'll talk some more probably about some water.
Talk about them ducks.
Talk about them ducks.
Them ducks.
Oh, yeah.
All righty. Thanks, Mike. We sure appreciate you.
Thank you.
All righty. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, guys. Be sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Carbon TV, Gen 7 Outdoors TV, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. And don't forget, you can go to naturesvoicegamecalls.com and use podcast 15 at checkout for 15% off of your order. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching in. We'll have all the links on everything that we talked about tonight when this episode goes out live on the audio version. This is out live now on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. So if you didn't get the chance to watch it live, you can go watch it right after we're done. So be sure to share, like, and follow, and give us some comments and feedback. We sure appreciate it.
Have a great night, guys. Thank you.
Yep. Thank y'all.